Hello, this is Dr. Jean, dear future people. Urban development is highly artificial. It requires hard work to maintain, yet people are willing to do it. It is an empire of information hierarchy, of mass media, of mass production, of mass transit, where your life is very closely regulated, where there are traffic signs, where you are very much contained. Yet, millions, even hundreds of millions of people choose this path. Now, why is that? Comfort and safety at the price of congestion, high stress environment, competition, highly processed food, and bad air. Okay? So there's a lot of congestion, bad air, traffic jams, and very highly artificial, very highly processed foods. Why are people so enthusiastic about all of these things? Because of the alternative. The alternative is the Great Steppe, which is vast, which is uncomfortably wild, where no empires ever live for long, where control is often nominal. There are huge empires in the steppe, yet they come and go, yet the control is always nominal. There are hot summers, there are cold winters, marshlands, wild beasts, hailstorms, drought, and all kinds of dangers. This is why. The alternative to this is the urban environment, which most people choose. So free air and vast natural space at the price of discomfort and danger. Most people would abandon this for this. Okay? And yes, I mean, it may be beautiful, but as you can see, it's dangerous and it's very uncomfortable. So let's talk a little bit about what an urban environment is like, okay? And remember the great cathedral, the Gothic architecture. And what you see is these columns here, okay? And these vaults, and you have these very, very high ceilings, and you have a little bit of air coming from above. Ever noticed that this really looks like this? The whole feeling of it is like this. Okay? These are the columns. This is the little glimpse that you get from the open air. Now contrast this with something like this. The plains, which are open, like the sky, like the ocean. And the old ancient sky father, Tengri, okay, originally probably meant sky, at least in one language also means ocean. Why? Because you get this feeling of vastness, of almost infinity, of limitlessness, okay? You have these huge open spaces. Here you are contained. You only get a glimpse of light. Here you are all light. You are all fresh air. But again, very few people choose this. Most people prefer to be here where there is comfort and safety. Okay? City living is contained. And for many people, this is good. It is good because of concerns for safety. Okay? So containment for some people are good. Whereas steppe living is open and mobile. Okay, you have these vast spaces, you have to really go around with your animals, tending your animals, okay? And you have living quarters, which corresponds to this kind of lifestyle, okay? So now, once we understood this contrast between contained spaces and vast open spaces, now let's see what all of this means for your inner self, for your spirituality, okay? Now imagine that a contained mind, okay, full of traffic signs, which we also call categories, thought panels, okay, classifications, rules, laws, established patterns, fixed truths, standardizations, walls, borders, limitations, homogeneous multitudes, okay, where there is mass everything, mass ideas, mass numbers, mass ideology, mass religion, and of course mass media, okay? So what if from this you are forced into the open? What if there is only one traffic sign and that signals that this is the end of the highway, okay, which is your highway of safety and comfort? What if the road ends? Remember when we talked during our presentation about the thinker traveler, we talked about leaving the established road. So what if you have to do that because the road ends? Your urban lifestyle is not only contained in space, but it is also contained in time, because it's very highly artificial, and sooner or later it will come to an end. What then? Okay? Remember these abandoned cities of the past? Well, then you have to air out your mind, okay? You have to abandon mental inertia. One needs to gradually lose weight that came about because of comfort and safety, because of excessive comfort, excessive safety, which you had at the price of containment. Not only physical containment, but spiritual containment, okay? This is the weight of containment, of unnatural and disproportional growth, of pre-processed foods, pre-processed ideas, fixed rules, fixed frame of reference and categories, which prevented you to be innovative, and most importantly, which prevented you to be unique. You had to abandon your uniqueness because of traffic signs, okay? You couldn't make a road for yourself according to your real interest. Now, what if you lose this burden? Mental inertia is like that clogged artery, okay? You have containment, okay? The blood cannot flow naturally. You have preset rules, you have pre-made highways, and you are contained. There are traffic jams on the way, okay? And so what happens if you have containment? Well, here your tissues just simply cannot get enough air, okay? They cannot get enough oxygen, okay, because of this traffic jam right here. So how can you air out your tissues? How can you air out your mind? Well, you have to understand that mental inertia is like a sunlight screened through and colored by a narrow stained glass. Like fashion, which means emulation, okay? An established road without maintained uniqueness. Mental inertia is like homogeneity, okay? Lack of robust abundance, lack of creative originality. It is a heavy burden. It causes clogging, containment, and limitations. So once we understood this, that at the price of excessive comfort and safety, this came about. This idea that you cannot get fresh air, you cannot get light because of containment, both physical and spiritual, then you need to understand that uniqueness, that mental cultivation is unavoidable. The city grows uncontrollably because it offers comfort and safety, an opportunity to get assimilated, to be amass something, okay? To be lost in the forest, longing for acceptance, longing for limitations, longing for preset rules, categories, accepted patterns, containment, and walls, numbing your emotions, numbing the natural desire for unique ways. It's a continuous compromise, okay, to get comfort and safety. And that causes addiction. And that causes your natural uniqueness, okay, not to be expressed, causing tension and depression. And look at this chart right here. This blue area here, okay, signals how the world's population, human population, okay, was increasing in the last few millennia, okay? And look at the urban growth. Look at this red area right here. This mirrors people's desire toward comfort and safety, toward established roads, towards traffic signs and containment. Why? Because of the chance, the opportunity to abandon mental cultivation, to abandon one's natural uniqueness, the longing to be assimilated, the longing toward established paths, because these make it possible for you to be mentally inert. And that's what the ordinary people miss, okay? That this eternal compromise of limiting yourself because of your desire to get accepted, right, makes it impossible to express yourself, your natural uniqueness. And that, of course, will cause depression and stress. And those things will be then compensated. Now, what if on the top of all of this, you have any kind of stress? Well, if you are out in the open, stress naturally induces for you to fight or flight. So in other words, stress equals mobility, right? You have to run away or you have to stand and fight. Now, stress in the city, okay, means frustration. You are fighting, but this fight is a contained fight, okay? It has nothing to do with mobility. It has something to do with diplomacy or persuading power or persuasion, okay? And it has a lot to do with compensation, and I am using the French word divertissement, okay? Because it gives you the idea that entertainment is really nothing else but diversion. It is a compensation, okay, for the frustrations that come about by stress, which is unnaturally handled. And this, of course, causes this kind of compensation, okay, in food, in entertainment. So we talked a lot about this in our nephrology series when we were talking about carbohydrate and stress, and how those things cause kidney disease, chronic kidney disease, and of course insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, and so on. So stress, naturally, it has to do with mobility. You have glucose, okay, blood sugar, glucose, mobilized from stores, directed toward the brain and muscle so that you can fight or flight. Glucose is consumed by exercise, and whatever little glucose remains will be driven back to the stores by the action of insulin, and then things go back to normal. Okay, this is how stress is supposed to be handled, okay? But stress in the urban environment, like this, okay, is often handled by a very different mechanism. So you have glucose mobilized from your stores, they're directed toward the brain and muscle, but they are largely unconsumed, okay? Because you are not doing this. You are doing this. So, and then the unconsumed glucose goes back to storage. And you have to use a lot of insulin to do that, okay? Because insulin is the hormone responsible to store glucose, okay? And then, of course, insulin is going to cause hunger, weight gain, and you will develop insulin resistance. So, all because of mishandled stress. And you mishandle stress because of this kind of stress, not this kind of stress, okay? So, often we compensate. We compensate by drinking caffeine-containing drinks. So let's see what happens when you drink anything containing caffeine. Heart rate increases, like in normal stress response. Metabolic rate increases. Brain function increases. You feel energetic. You have an increased sympathetic activity. So you're alert. Your sympathetic nervous system is on high alert, okay? But instead of the endogenous endorphins, okay, you have side effects of diuresis, reflux, and anxiety. Because caffeine is a compensation. It's not natural. It just mimics mobility as required by the stress response, or as part of a stress response, okay? So what you have here is mimicry, okay? Caffeine, you drink caffeine all the time, okay, to hide the fact that you do not have enough physical mobility. And so if you do that, then you're gonna develop metabolic syndrome, which is partly helped by caffeine-containing drinks, okay? Since at least they kind of energize you in some way. But really, inertia, physical inertia, will cause you all kinds of problems, okay? And here, of course, chronic kidney disease is not included, but as we already talked about in the carbohydrates and stress, the nephrology presentation about this, chronic kidney disease is the extreme of metabolic syndrome. Okay? So all of that is because of lack of mobility. All of that is because of containment. So this is the physical side of the problem. But let's talk about the mental side of the problem. Well, here mobility means cultivation of your mind, mental mobility, mental alertness. Okay? So you think, accepting traffic signs, but really you are trying to go above and beyond. You try to transcend traffic signs, even if you have congestion. Okay? You will try to develop your own unique ways. Or, if you are not willing to do that, you are going to have mental inertia. And mental inertia will always mean that you are going to focus on comfort and safety. And when you are focusing on comfort and safety, then you are overcompensating your lack of uniqueness that is necessary to maintain this focus. And this lack of uniqueness will bring about the idea of the ego, okay? Of I am important, I am separate, I am walled off and self-contained, okay? It's me. So ego is a compensation for lack of uniqueness, okay? Because if you are unique, if you dare to express your own uniqueness, you are not going to have ego. You don't have to fight it. It's automatic. Why is that? It's automatic because if you are able to express your uniqueness, which is natural, then your natural bond to nature, which is both physical and spiritual, to reality, which is organic, which is alive, to an organic community will manifest itself automatically. Okay? So if you are truly a liver cell, as opposed to a kidney cell or a tumor cell, okay, then you will be accepted as such. Okay? And so you are a unique liver cell. And you, because of your uniqueness, you are an organic part of the community and of reality. But if you are not able to cultivate your mind, if you are not able to maintain your unique ways by your unique life experiences, if you are perpetually in a congested roads, minding always traffic signs, okay, then your mental inertia will manifest itself, and compensations like entertainment, like freedom, freedom, which is not real freedom, because freedom normally should mean that you are able to express your true uniqueness, okay, which binds you to an organic reality. Here, freedom is a compensation, and you say that I'm separate, I am walled off, okay? I separate myself from everybody else to protect myself, my poor self, which is not abundant because I neglected my life experience mechanism, I lost my uniqueness, so somehow I have to feel important, and therefore I wall off myself and create a fortress, inside. Okay? So, life strategy as it should be. Mobility is good. Okay? General happiness is a state. Okay? It's a state of mind coming from mobility. Not only physical mobility, but also spiritual, intellectual mobility of organized thought based on life experience with unique thinking, unique processing, unique organic cooperation, and unique contribution to an organic community. Your potential is already there. Okay? It's inside of you. You don't have to search for it. You just have to free it up and express it. The uniqueness is already inside. The ability for you to become a co-creator, okay, to form a reality is natural. Okay? That's your natural stance, to be a co-creator. Because reality is not created and stop. Okay? Reality is constantly being created. And everybody should uniquely contribute to that process. Because everyone is an organic part of reality, so everyone's contribution is important. Not equally important, because contribution cannot be measured. Okay? Small contribution and a large contribution are both unique contributions, so they cannot be directly compared. Okay? So your natural stance is to be a co-creator of an ever-changing, organic reality of possibilities. Okay? And then you have the joy of expression, of unique contribution to this reality. So you have a proactive stance. You have mobility in mind, as well as there's a physical aspect of mobility. So mobility is good. But you have an alternative way, okay, where your life strategy is confused. It's based on confusion, based on too much unnecessary information which you are not able to handle, so you ask others to handle information for you. You want comfort and safety through others, okay? You are not able to maintain your uniqueness. And then you don't have a general happiness, you have an individual happiness of a separate self, of an ego, okay? So pursuit of happiness is meant to be individual happiness, and it's false, okay? You're gonna suffer. There's no such thing as individual happiness, because for your individual happiness, you have to first separate yourself out of the natural community so that you become an individual. You understand? Uniqueness has nothing to do with individuality. Uniqueness means that you are part of a community, but you are a unique part of a community. Individuality means that you are a number. You are a human particle which separated itself out of the community. Why? Because you are weak. Because you don't have the abundance, the life experience, the uniqueness. Okay? So you compensate by separating yourself with walls. Okay? So now, individual happiness is a goal. You have pursuit of individual happiness. Okay? Coming from comfort and inertia, with standardized thinking, with categories, with uniform individual life conduct. And of course, whenever you are talking about uniformity, what does uniformity generate? Well, uniformity generates naturally what? Competition, right? Because if you are all the same, okay, you want to be the best in something rather than expressing your uniqueness. You feel that your potential is given. Why? Because you are a slave. A slave gets everything from somebody else, right? You are a user, okay? You feel that you are given something by some lord, by some great person, by some great organization, by some great institution, by some great ideology, okay? You're not yourself. You are an empty shell, okay? So you feel that you are given something. No, you are not given something. It's already there inside you without anybody ever giving it to you. Because you are a natural part of reality. And reality is organic. So that it's all inside you, like in a seed. Okay? So instead of the joy of expression of the co-creator, you have the joy of exploitation of the user. And instead of being intelligent, you are smart. And what does smart mean? That you are in a good position, okay? You are the first in a competition, and it's all parasitism, and it's all exploitation, okay? So your goal is dolce far niente, okay? That everybody is being done by others, and you enjoy doing nothing, okay? So mobility is bad because you worship inertia. So that. What we are trying to talk about is soul seed. Soul seed here and soul seed here. Soul seed is the idea that, like in a seed, in your soul, there is infinite potential. Now this potential is weighted because you are part of a community, both vertically and horizontally, in time and in space. And so the community may need this or that direction. And of course, you are to some degree conforming to that direction. But the potentiality is all there. It just needs care and attention, and it needs work and cultivation. And that's going to cost high maintenance. Your creative, fertile imagination and sensitivity needs to be cultivated so that you have unique expression. You have abundance of organic experiences which are uniquely processed. And you're not seeing merely empty space and the physical universe, but what you see from this perspective is an organic reality with uniqueness and immense potential. And remember that the soul seed, okay, is not separated. Okay, it does not have separating walls like this. Okay? Because you have the vastness of reality, which means the vastness of potentiality. And that potentiality is all inside. It's not given, it's there. It's just there naturally. But it's there naturally to be cultivated. And that needs extra effort. Okay? So if you have this feeling that you are a co-creator with unique contribution in an organic reality, okay? If you feel that you have uniqueness and an immense potential, then you feel that you are an important part of reality. And because you are an important part of reality, you say yes to life and you say yes to reality. And the minute you do that, you do not have to wall yourself off of reality. Okay? You don't have this artificial compensated freedom, and you don't need divertissement, entertainment, which is a diversion, because your attention is wide and is directed to a reality that you truly can call your home. And what does a person do with a home? Form it, organizes it, okay? Because it's your home. So if it's your home, then you order it, you organize it, okay? Not imposing on others, okay? Because it's their home too. And you try to cooperate with them. But cooperation does not mean that you regard yourself as an average, okay? You regard yourself as an obedient follower of traffic signs, because you are able to see that above and beyond traffic signs, above and beyond established roads, there is what? Vast space. Vast space, not of opportunity, but of great possibilities that are waiting to be formed and organized uniquely. So with that, I thank you for your attention, and goodbye for now.